Senator Shehu Sani.
Mr. President, I stand as Comrade Senator Shehu Sani to add my voice to this very testy and sensitive issue. Like I've always said, there are two sides to issues of this kind. But first and foremost, as a Nigerian, a very conscious and awakened one, we are not ignorant of the security reality of Nigeria today. People are killed in hundreds every day, from Benue to Taraba, Zamfara, Nasarawa, Kaduna, and most parts of the north-central states and the south. We're concerned that this violence and mindless bloodletting and massacre is threatening the peace, the unity, the stability, and the future of our country. We are also not mindful of the fact that as leaders elected into office, we have both a moral and constitutional duty to restore order and peace, and to end this mindless bloodletting that is testing the efficacy, the viability, and the value and the essence of our being in office. I'm very much concerned with the very fact that our country is becoming a fallen state. I also appreciate, recognize the effort of the President and the federal government in general in trying to bring order and security and peace to these areas that have seen much bloodshed, much massacre. Funeral services, burial and mourning is becoming the order of the day in the country today. But that is not an excuse to violate the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Like I've always said, this is a difficult moment for people to speak. Many times we prefer to bury our heads in shame. We find it much easier to speak on issues that are not controversial, one that will not test our loyalty, one that will not test our commitment to our country, and one that will not test our principles as a people. But I think we should understand that when you are elected to office, and especially as a distinguished senator, you should have nothing to fear other than your God. You should speak the truth and stand by it. We may have a president that is man of integrity today, that Nigerians so much love. And if we allow these things to happen today, we have no reason to challenge it in the future when you have a president that is not President Muhammadu Buhari. When you set a dangerous precedent, you are simply laying a foundation for desecration of the institution of democracy. You cannot appropriate what has been spent. You cannot deposit the money that you spend in a bank. What has happened today is a gross violation of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. But we must understand that inasmuch as we are very sensitive and the credibility and the usefulness of the president and his government is being constantly tested. When will peace return to Benue? When will our security forces be able to end the insurgency in the northeast? When will the killing stop in Zamfara? When will the kidnappings and the killing stop in Kaduna and Nasarawa state? When will the violence in all parts of the country come to an end? It has always been said, the primary function of a government is the peace, order, and security of the citizens. But it's very clear to us that we are failing as a government and we are also failing as a nation. But like I've said, take the risks of endorsing and embracing what has happened today. It will be gazetted and it will be part of the history of Nigerian Senate, Nigerian democracy, for which we cannot challenge it in the future. I will say that what was done was wrong. And I would like my children and grandchildren to read my statement on this, despite the inconvenience of it. But we should know that Nigerian democracy is set to last for generations upon generations. But will be tested. So in my own way, I believe that the monies that are spent for security is worth it. But we should be calling for the refund of that money and due process to be followed for us to be able to achieve what we want to achieve. We have seen so much bloodshed, and there's a need for us not to circumvent the Constitution, not to circumvent the laws of the land, in an attempt to achieve some certain ends. So in my own way, I do not think we should impeach the president, but we should demand that the money be returned to follow due process to the end. Thank you very much.
Senator Ibrahim.
Mr. President, my distinguished colleagues, my name is Senator Ibrahim. I represent Kasma South.
And also,
sir, I partially stand on what Senator Shehu Sani mentioned or said. The letter of Mr. President is quite clear. He took action based on national interest, national security. That's why he authorized this payment. That's why he authorized this payment. The players that were looking for the fighters who have been negotiated for years, and the American government refused to sell it. Now they gave the approval, they gave time frame for which the president has to act, and he acted. Now, if you look at the whole issue that is going on now, I believe the president has done something which is very, very fundamental. As far as I'm concerned, this is the first time that expenditure of this kind, money that was drawn from excess crude account, is being discussed in this National Assembly. I have been here for how many years? Since the beginning of this account, I have never seen any expenditure that was brought here for approval. I'll give you an example. 17.71 billion was drawn by Obasanjo from the excess crude account to pay the Paris Club fund on 2 projects without National Assembly approval. Obasanjo left 9.3 billion in excess crude account, but former President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan frittered away the money with no recourse to National Assembly. Now, I'm just giving you an example. Listen to me now. The account again was increased to 5.16 billion in 2005, to over 20 billion in 2008, and decreased to less than 4 billion by Jonathan in 2010. It never came to National Assembly for approval. 2 billion was used by the previous PDP administration to fight Boko Haram in 2014. Governor Goodwill Afabia was the one who moved the motion in the National Economic Council to get the money released. And it was done. But I'm coming, we can reject it. 5 billion was taken for power generation. When they were sourcing funds for Niger Delta Power Holdings, the same process was not being taken by Adwa. It was later taken to the National Assembly, and National Assembly approved it. Now, Mr. President, I think this is a PDP. Let me finish, sir. This is a PDP conspiracy, Mr. President. And I would like PDP to come out today to tell us which of their governors have taken the money released on access crude account to the states who are taken to State Assembly for approval. Now, again, it's a big challenge. Now bring it now. You are telling us you are trying to bring accountability in this country. But you are not doing it. You have never done it. You are not even asking your governors to do it. Now you are bringing it up because you've got a president who believes in accountability, who brought for the first time bringing this money to be approved here. It has never done. The president has created a precedent for us. Next time, nobody will do it again. But, Mr. President, sir, the president talked on national security, for which we be concerned. Shehu Sani mentioned people are killed every day, and it's our responsibility to find money anywhere, and do it. But most importantly, this money was approved by a National Economic Council meeting. It was approved by the same governors, Council of State. So what was the president to do? To wait until we approve it? Secondly, the president paid directly to the American government, so there are no pecuniary interest on this payment. Therefore, please, let's use our senses. Let's work for the interests of Nigeria. Finally, this expenditure was part of the MTF, which we approved. Under the MTF, provision has been made for excess crude account. Federal government share is shown. State government shares have been shown. Lastly, or additionally, this 1 billion is not fully our responsibility. Part of it belongs to the state, which are approved by the state governors. So the president shouldn't even bring this to us. Especially, he could only bring 53% of the amount for our approval. The rest belongs to the state. Mr. President, I think, as a responsible Senate, as a responsible Nigerians, we should look at this critically without politics. We should agree a small infraction has been made, but the president has accepted, brought it to us for approval, and as there is no pecuniary interest, it was not a business as usual, it was an agreement between Nigeria and the American government. It was paid in federal American treasury account. So what is the problem? No intermediary, nothing. Please, I appeal to my colleagues to look at this critically, to take politics out of it. But let me tell you, if it is a PDP conspiracy to tarnish the image of Muhammad Buhari, they will not be able to do it. Because we are coming out with figures. We are coming